Welcome back, everybody. This is NFC North West Coast Edition. This is part 2 of, the entire NFC North in the house. So welcome, everybody. And we're just going to pick up right where we left off from last week. So let's get into it. All right, Eddie, you can go ahead and tell us.
Sure.
Detroit Lions,
So,
you got the floor.
I will say the biggest news is kind of another pimple on the face of the Lions, and it's even before the Decker thing. It's more recent news you guys didn't end up covering because I think it literally broke like the day of your recording was, well, as you guys know, the Lions have a bit of a history with not taking care of their superstars, and we thought that it was, with Martha and some of the older ownership, and it reared its, ugly head again when we found out that it was broken news that not by Dan, not by Brad, but came directly from Rod Wood, our director of basketball, director of football operations, recouped some of Frank Ragnow's salary from his retirement. The guy that tried to come back for our playoff run with literally no hamstring, he came back and he had to give his money back. Much like Calvin, much like Barry.
Have the Lions not learned at this point?
That's what all Lions fans are like. The Taylor Decker thing we'll get into, but all Lions fans, when we heard this, and then the same day this was when the league meetings were happening in Arizona, and Rod Wood should never be allowed in front of a mic in front of press again because he not just put his foot in his mouth, he like inhaled himself, and it was the most classless thing. And it's like, the question is, did it come from Sheila? Was it directly from Rod Wood? Because he made it appear he's like, this is a business. This is what happens. You got to deal with it. I'm like, you don't do that to your superstar. You shouldn't do that to anyone, but especially your damn superstars. The guy played through 10 injuries that would have ended anyone's career, didn't miss a damn snap from him. And then you say, hey, Ragnow, sorry you couldn't make it back to us. Give me your money. That was the most shocking thing of this offseason.
The thing is that it's not like it counts against the cap. Once they retired, that takes what's in the books is already in the books, and what's not, it's not.
Yes.
This is actually wild to me because you know that there's talk in the building. This is why your linemen left. They were like, that I'm not playing for a team that does that.
Well, the order is reversed, but I see what you're saying.
The order of the news coming out is reversed, right? You don't know when this actually happened.
That's fair. According,
this could have happened months ago, and now it's just coming to light. Now there's a whistleblower,
or he could have got the news that this is going to happen because it doesn't happen overnight.
Right?
He could have been told in December that you're going to start paying this back, and they could have been negotiating because that tends to happen with the agents and them. Yeah. And then you're right. Maybe the linemen were like, "How do you do this to us? How do you do this to you?"
Yeah, no. This is like I said, this is literally same old Lions like BS in that sense. Like it's.
And don't get me wrong.
Was so floored.
Other teams are known to do certain things like this, right? It happens, but that tends to happen when, for instance, Andrew Luck owes $100 million,
and Irsay still let him keep $25 million that he could have forced him to pay back.
But when it comes to the linemen, they didn't owe that. They didn't get that much more. Where it makes sense. This is a multi-billion-dollar organization.
Correct.
That money isn't saving the cap any money at all.
According to Rod, it's money that we needed, okay? And that was just disgusting the way that he addressed it's a terrible press conference. My God.
I'm sorry, did the Ford family need more money?
That's what I don't, we will never know behind closed doors. Did Sheila order this? Did Rod do this on his own? I'm sure Sheila had, unfortunately, something to do with this, but when it broke, the whole internet was like, oh, it's got to be April Fool's. There's no way. And it was legitimate. And it's like, what are you guys doing?
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for further affirming what the Lions franchise is that we've always done.
Sure. Listen, I defend my team where I can, but I also
April
know when to say
is fitting. They're a joke.
That's good, Eddie. I mean, you got to admit fault sometimes.
I'm honest about what I can be. It is what it is. It sucks. But anyway, to continue to the offseason stuff. So I agree with your guys' point about Taylor Decker. So I think that the way to think about this, and again, this is just me like giving my opinion. I don't know anything, but Taylor Decker, we were worried that it was going to be a Frank Ragnow situation. You didn't know if the guy was going to retire, if he was going to come back. So Dan and Brad correctly said, like, hey, take all the time you need. Let us know what the decision is. But it seemed like it was already predetermined that, like, if he decided to come back, given where our cap situation was, because we were in the negative, barring restructures and stuff, we were going to ask him to take a pay cut. He's still, a premium, like you guys said, premium position, left tackle. You don't find those, even if they're aging, even if they're getting, less than stellar. He gave us 10 incredible years. I don't know if it was from some of the injuries of the past 3 years or whatever it was, but it seemed like their heads were just butting off the start. And so when the release came, they gave him the decency to allow him to announce it rather than like throw him under the bus. But that was as good as it got. Everything else was like, Lions fans were surprised. We were very sad. Taylor's done nothing but live through 3 ridiculous regimes, which is insane for, given the Lions' awful nature. So I think that was one of the biggest impacts. I think to me, it states that Penei is going to move to the left tackle. I think that it's just, even though as stellar as he's been at right tackle, left tackle has always been his natural position. And I feel like if there's one side you need to be a rock, it should be your quarterback's blind side. So it just makes sense to me to throw Penei back there and then figure out right tackle in the draft, or with one of our signings, Larry Borum, who can be serviceable. He's below average, but can be serviceable.
You guys struggled.
Larry Borum, bro. Good luck.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's why I think it's going to be someone in the draft early, first or second round. I'm hoping first round.
They didn't make a movie called The Blind Side for no reason.
Bears fans were so hopeful for Larry Borum for the longest time.
I know.
He gave up.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be different for you.
Totally. Yeah. He had a great couple of games in Miami. Woohoo. So ready for him.
Yeah.
But
that was the thing though. He's very inconsistent.
100%.
It was like some games it was like, okay, this guy can play, and then the
Right.
next game it was like, bro.
yeah. So I think losing Decker was obviously the big impact, but I'll let you guys speak to that and I'll go to the next one. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say you struggled. I mean, your team struggled last year with the line with the
I heard what you
linemen
said
already had.
last week. Yep.
So I am, from everyone in our whole division when it comes to the line, I'm actually more concerned about your team than anybody else.
I don't disagree.
And that's coming from the Bears losing 2 of their biggest linemen.
Yeah.
You know what? We got to give Eddie some credit here, though, because remember last year around this time, he was very confident in his offensive line.
Yes.
He
and
was.
then JC and I kept
guys
saying,
called it out. Yep, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
so,
So
I think you have less optimism, which is the way to go.
Yeah. I
You
think
can't be disappointed.
I think this is a very pivotal offseason for the Lions. And I think that, if we're judging it just based on what we know now, this has not been a great offseason. It's been great for depth building, but we're not going over all of our signings. But it has not been a big, check mark in, oh yeah, we won the offseason. We're ready to go for the season. So I think we have to see what happens in the draft and then after. But I'm worried about that line right now.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I'll even take it a step further, where I think that goes for the entire NFC North.
100%. Sure.
I do not think that this, like last year, very impressed with some of the offseason moves this year. And I don't know if it's because it was such a competitive division where, all the teams have learned we're not putting all our eggs in one basket, and, really trying to sustain because even though records, does not show that this division was as tight as it was as tight as it was.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't make drastic changes when you were right there the entire season, and it was coming down to the final games to see who's going to make it into the playoffs. So it kind of makes sense to me. But yeah, I would say this hasn't been a particularly splashy offseason. I still think that obviously the biggest news was the DJ Moore trade.
Yes.
But, and that really was from a salary cap perspective. It had nothing to do with trying to fill a major hole. So, but
I do have a question as I just kind of look at the top 10 Lions offseason moves. Cade Mays?
Yes, that was going to be my next point to make.
Okay, cool.
Good.
I just wanted to ask. I didn't know as we were talking about the O-line. Cool.
Sure.
Go for it.
Good pivot. So I think our biggest, most pivotal current signing was finally getting a center who is an up-and-coming center. He's still a younger center who has work to do. I think he's only played like 14 games officially as a starting center. He started as a guard, I believe, originally in Carolina. They moved him to center. It worked out well. And so I think when you go from a Graham Glasgow, who was a good journeyman, but his best years were well behind him, and you go to a younger, more athletic center that can work in a gap scheme, which is what our offense is, you can help alleviate that pressure internally. And the hope is that he's an ascending center, because as a Lions fan, I will say I wanted Linderbaum, but with our cap structure and everything, there's no way we could afford him. Cade's contract is less for all 3 years than 1 year of Linderbaum.
From last week, though, your salary cap was at 35.7. You need about
I'll get to that,
$7 million for your rookies. Is that right?
I promise you, I've taken notes, and I have for all the things that we're going to talk about. That is
so sure. Okay, so let's say you have around 30 million.
Yep,
that's a decent you wouldn't be using that 30 million on any player because it would be spread out for however many years. Let's say you get a good lineman for 60 million.
Sure.
It would count for maybe 15 million out of that
Sure.
that the cap space. So what's the issue with your cap?
I'll answer your question in 2 parts. So the first part is Cade Mays was according to Brad and Dan, he was our 1A, 1B, but we really wanted Connor McGovern, the guy that re-signed with the Bills. He whatever the contract was, 345 or whatever it was, I don't remember.
Sure.
We really wanted him, but we couldn't get him. Linderbaum was the dream, but we could no way afford that. The tough thing that the Lions are up against is, like you guys have talked about, that when you draft a good core, where we have a really good core, eventually you have to pay them. So Gibbs is about to get arguably the biggest contract in running back history or close to it. Jack Campbell is due for a big payday, and we're still thinking about Laporta. That's not counting Brian Branch, depending on if he comes back healthy, and Kirby, I have no clue what's going to happen with that injury status. So the cap that's left is for flexibility, both for contracts for this offseason, because those are coming close to the draft, and for potentially additions after.
But none of those players would count against this year's cap.
No, I get that.
You
I
would
get
do
that.
extensions. It would be
Sure,
an extension.
on the back end of that. But the cap, we still need to. There's arguments for a trade that we still don't know.
Then that's a different conversation. Yeah,
Sure. But I just don't think. I mean, again, I'm not Brad. I don't know what his intentions were when we were looking at O linemen. But I think it was kind of like Linderbaum or Cade Mays was like the end goal. And when we realized that like the ballpark for Linderbaum was not even close, I think that's where they said, "Hey, we'll take the value of what we hope is a kind of rising asset." In that sense.
Fair, I guess.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Cool.
Does that answer your question,
Yeah.
Dylan?
Yeah. I just, I've never, he's new, so I never really heard of him. So I had to ask.
Sure. He's an up and coming center, and we're hoping he'll get better. The last 2 points that I did want to make. One was about your AQM, Al-Qadim Muhammad, which obviously, it sucks that we lost him to the Bucs for very cheap. Again, I don't want to say rationale, but from my perspective, yes, I hate that we lost a guy that had 11 sacks, broke out in his 10th season on limited snaps next to arguably one of the best, DNs on the other side. The thing was...
Who's that?
The thing is that AQM, as great of a rusher as he is, he cannot stop the run and he cannot set the edge. He was terrible at those things, much like James Houston was for us a few years back.
How often are you trying to get your edge to stop the run, though?
In this current scheme, it's actually important. So what we did this offseason was our trade-off for him was we got slightly younger by getting a player that Dill is familiar with, who had his best year alongside Daniil Hunter in DJ Wanham, who is a bigger edge, has slightly more production, and can show that when he's up against or up next to another great D end, he had his best sack season of 8 sacks.
Fair, but wasn't one of your issues not getting to the quarterback?
Correct.
Yeah. With Wanham, I feel like he's really good at he's got. Reach goes a long way, but inches. Football is a game of inches when you come down to it, and he gets off that block, he can really gather up any quarterback at that point.
I just think from that perspective, and obviously you don't know what they're going to sign elsewhere and for how much, but in this day and age, it's pretty apparent when they're passing down plays, right?
Sure.
Particularly 3rd and long, and I guess I just didn't expect the Lions to not sign him, for a minimal situational type plays. But honestly, there's a lot of great edge rushers that can't stop the run.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah,
it's part of their identity as being a great edge rusher, because a lot of it is about speed and technique, and it's not so much about power. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of power rushers as well.
Yeah,
but an interesting take.
And part of it too. Sorry to cut you off there. Part of it too was we tried to get Wanham 2 years ago before he signed with Carolina when he was coming out from the Vikings. Dan and Brad really liked him, but we just couldn't afford him compared to what the Panthers gave him. And then unfortunately, the Panthers are a 3-4 defense versus a 4-3. He didn't really work out. He still was productive, but wasn't anywhere near what he was with the Vikings. And so that made it a bit more of a discount too, potentially. So it could be just a combination of things where the Lions are betting on slightly younger, can play all 3 downs. We're changing our scheme slightly. Thank God. We're going less base. We're playing more nickel. Thank God. I think that was also part of what went into losing Alex, which when we talked about last season about like, oh, who would you be okay with losing? I still hated Alex was a captain. He was here with us for the 4 years, but I said he's the one linebacker I would be okay for signing somewhere else. I think Paul's part of his decision was also he lives in Miami, so he kind of want to be closer to family. He's been saying that for a while, but still, it does suck to see.
I mean, anything's better than Detroit.
100%. I don't disagree.
I think him and Hutcherson is gonna be a good duo.
I think so too. That's the hope. That. Yeah. I like hopefully a round 2 edge. Come on, please, Yakis.
I don't know, man. I find it hard to let go of a player that's gotten over 10 sacks in a season.
I hear you.
And I think for that price, you just got to run it back and see what he could do. And your biggest issue was not getting to the quarterback. So when you had someone that could get to the quarterback consistently, and yes, because of Hutch, it helped a lot.
Sure.
But I talked to this with Jackie last week. There are so many other players that don't contribute, even when they have someone that's like a stud.
Yeah.
Look at the Raiders and when they had, what's his name?
Crosby.
Right.
A lot of other, some players did contribute, but you still have players that were not contributing.
Right.
When it came to Dallas, when they had Micah Parsons, you still had players that didn't contribute on the opposite direction. Even with us, Rashawn Gary did okay, but he not the numbers that he should have had when you had Micah Parsons for half the season on the other side. So to tell me that it's okay to let him go because he couldn't stop the run,
that's not all.
Or if that's the reasoning, it's still a dumb reasoning in my opinion.
Sure. The other part of it too is, again, I don't want to go into like game by game, but a lot of his sacks came in bunches, and most of them came in like garbage-ish type of time. Unfortunately, similar to what James Houston did, where it's like the plays are still impactful. No one's taking that away from you. It's still a skill to sack the quarterback, but the Lions are counting on hopefully consistency. And I'm just giving you opinion. I don't know what the Lions are thinking, but I just think that what they saw from a 31-year-old was okay. That's awesome, but I don't see this as
Does he owe the Lions like $50 because they might ask for it?
He
back?
will. He can't send that news cycle until after the draft, so it'll come. Yeah,
they're gonna Venmo request
for sure. But and then the last point. Sorry to take the time, but the last thing is I appreciate that Brad didn't duck the fact that we need safety depth given our situation. Brian coming back from the Achilles injury and Kirby. I feel so bad for the guy. We don't know what's going to happen. Is his career done? Can he play at 80% with the degenerative, cartilage he's dealing with? But the fact that we rounded up a number of good depth pieces that can play while we figure this thing out with both of them, I do appreciate that. Yeah.
And that was one of your strengths too.
Yeah. We had arguably one of the best tandem all-pro safeties.
Yeah.
So.
Those were your most impactful moves?
To me, yeah.
Okay. You pulled a Dylan there. It's okay.
Oh, sorry. Not sorry.
Did you guys? I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I skimmed over the Packers and the Lions video, but did you guys talk
That's
about?
What happens when you put chapters? You just skip through all of them.
I couldn't hear you, Dylan.
Did you guys talk about the Pacheco signing?
No, because we were talking most impactful. I like the signing, but it's not the most impactful. Yeah.
Okay.
That's for pre-draft, like Jack said.
Yeah,
that's true.
You guys are like going way deep into this. This is
we got limited airtime here. Okay, you guys do this weekly. We don't. Dylan and I want
big news.
We're thinking of live streaming the draft.
Yep.
Should we live stream at the pool hall?
That would be a wild episode.
That would be wild.
I don't think the world's ready.
Yeah.
I don't think the internet's that great over there either.
Alrighty, well, let's give you guys some opportunity to hear your thoughts on the Packers and the Bears. So some of the things we talked about last week with the Packers, obviously loss of Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys. JC went on his rant about his favorite coach in the NFL.
Jerry. Oh, yeah,
no.
Versace. No, I know, but still trading with Jerry. Like
definitely my favorite.
Stop trading with Jerry.
Elton Jenkins, Malik Willis, Quay Walker. So, any thoughts, feelings?
We added a few players, some from the Vikings too.
Oh yes,
yeah, Hargrave.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, kind of see Hargrave go, but at that point, the Vikings, I guess you can tell that they make some bad deals, and. Or maybe not some bad deals, but their deals go south pretty quickly. And
I feel like we were
You know-
talking about him last year around this time. Did he just like sign a 2-year deal? I
Yeah,
remember him coming
Both
to the.
tackles
Yeah.
signed like a 2-year, and then he just
Yeah.
underperformed, and they said
Yep.
caboose.
He did underperform.
Yeah.
He really did. But anyway,
Eh,
sorry. Go ahead.
But I don't have too much about the Packers just because I hate the Packers, and
Too.
but I think overall, they're gonna probably need a new quarterback here pretty soon. I think they should start looking into that.
You're right. You're right. Jordan Love, his kid's gonna be born in a couple months.
Now that Malik Willis is gone,
Yeah,
huh?
the best QB's gone. That
they got
sucks.
no one.
They got nobody.
No.
And if he sprains his ankle, what's gonna happen?
Oh man.
Hey, how many yards did JJ get last year?
I don't know. He did better than Love during his rookie season. I know that.
No, he didn't. I mean,
That's because he rode the bench.
Well,
So yeah, he did.
So
yeah, he
okay,
did.
his first year,
technically.
you're technically okay, but for his first year, if you compare him, you can't compare him. You
We'll
just can't.
see next year at this point.
I still
I mean-
see Jordan Love getting more done than JJ. I don't even see JJ playing this year.
We'll see. We'll have to see that.
Eddie, thoughts?
I think you guys covered it. I think losing Quay, I understand about the money situation, but that is still big.
Yeah.
I think Zaire is going to be a bit sneaky if he can return to a
The
year
year before,
ago.
yeah.
But some of the injuries and stuff we'll have to see. I thought it was also interesting because we were also in on their left tackle that you guys picked up, Wallace or whatever. What was his name? Rashid something. Your guys'
Oh yeah,
tackle.
yeah.
I was like that. You guys grabbed him. We were trying to grab him for depth. So I think that was kind of like an interesting interdivisional signing. But I think you guys covered off on the Packers' kind of big pieces.
You guys aren't happy for Malik Willis though? I mean,
I'm happy for him in terms of he got his bag and he gets an opportunity to be a starter in this league.
Yeah.
But then Miami turning around and trading away Jalen Waddle, losing Tyreek, losing we talked about Darren Waller, like Malik Washington. They're probably going to draft a receiver, but it's like, the kid's going to run a lot. I'll say that. Willis is going to run a lot, and Achane is going to have 100,000.
The first intentional tanking year for an NFL team loading.
No, that's reserved for my boy Aaron Glenn and the Jets signing Geno. They just saw that Geno gave the Raiders the number
That's
one pick,
fair.
and they said that is the motto.
Hey,
Hey, they got better defensively.
I mean,
The Ra-
With your- with your losses,
can we talk
Walker,
about
you
the
did pick
biggest
up Frank
headline in the
Clark.
NFL? Kirk Cousins' agent needs to go on the Hall of Fame.
No question.
Hall of
No
Fame.
question.
How the does this guy get paid every year? Well, I mean, I get it's supposed to be a 1-year contract,
Yes,
but it's
but negotiated as a 5-year 152 or whatever.
how
is
the does he get paid so much?
that agent is eating so
Dude,
good.
the fact that Kirk Cousins has made more money in the NFL than like Tom Brady did while he was in the NFL is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Gotta
I
have a
don't
good
get it.
agent,
Yeah, shoot,
Legendary agent
literally.
right?
finds a way to get him paid every single time.
Dude, that's crazy.
Every player needs to go sign up with that dude.
All right. The Bears. Let's hear it.
Go ahead, Dill.
Boo. No.
I'd like to be honest. It's kind of hard to even Jackie speaks with such emotion on her face when she's speaking about the Bears. It's like every single time I'm hearing it, it's like it seems like someone died almost. I'm like, oh my gosh, someone got let go. What just happened? And then she's just like, yeah, he retired, and it's just super sad. And I'm like, oh, what happened? Tell me more. But I think I don't know. For me, the Bears, they had some losses, they had some pickups, but I'm scared of the Bears now. It's past years, you weren't really that scared of the Bears, to be honest. But holy crap, I am scared, and it's luckily we went 1-1 last year, but I don't know about this year. It's going to be a little hard for what they got coming.
I mean, the entire NFC North is going to be difficult. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice because when Ryan Poles first came on, there were some really good moves, but we just didn't have all the pieces in place, And I think that he did a really good job building the foundation, and then last year Ben Johnson is like, I'm going to build the house now. And it is pretty discouraging though to really see our offensive line take the leap that it took this year to losing two, huge pieces. But honestly, I think we're in good hands. I think that the relationship between Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson is great. I think, as long as we don't move to Indiana, we'll be okay. So, just going to throw that out there.
What do you guys think about that?
It's leverage. There's no way. They can, until they break ground, I don't believe it. You could tell me things are signed. I think this is all leverage to try
They've
to get
already
Chicago.
paid for Arlington Heights. What
right.
What are they planning on doing with that?
They could sell it for what they paid for it.
I mean, who's going to buy it for what they paid for it?
You're not doing it in Gary, Indiana.
I can tell
Gary
you
has
I am
been
jealous.
canceled at that point. It's Hammond at this.
Indiana.
What's up, though?
I can tell you I am jealous. After Ryan Kelly retiring, man, you guys picked up Garrett Bradbury, and that's he's a good center. He's a good center, and I think he's gonna, he's a little older, but I think he's gonna do well with the.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice piece, but I mean he was good. He was good last year, but I don't know. It's hard because I still think that we weren't seeing the best of Drew Dahlman. I think that he still had a lot of capability, and so it's just sad that we'll never know like how far he could ascend. Not that I don't think we'll get that at Garrett, but it's like, I mean, well, I don't know.
It's hard.
Just
Yeah, it is hard.
It seems to be a trend right now that a lot of offensive linemen are starting to retire like in their late 20s instead of like closer to like mid 30s.
Well, you got to remember, Dahlman, I think his dad was a player too, right? And so a lot of it was maybe he saw what happened to his dad, whether it's injuries or like mental,
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, like they're the only position linemen where every single play there's contact.
Right.
Every single play, it's contact. Whereas other plays you don't get hit. So
as these tush pushes are coming more and more, they don't want to be on the bottom of the pile anymore.
That's true too.
Yep. So I mean, the last thing we can sit and talk about DJ Moore here a little bit because I mean we all kind of knew the writing was on the wall. Again, didn't think it would happen this season, or this off season, I should say.
What I had said to Jackie was, he is that clutch factor in those, especially in the later end of the year, those games. But I mean, the Bears got a, I feel like a better clutch factor with God, I can't even think of his name. Tight end, give it to me.
Holston Loveland.
Thank you. He kicked our. That's for sure. And,
he's going to be pretty gnarly.
And Rome was, to your point, the reason that they were drafted together was that they want to ascend together. And Rome showed in his rookie season he can be the guy. A little up and down this year, but part of that was just rotation, injuries.
Yeah, I mean he was dealing with a foot fracture the entire season, so that can slow 100%. You down a little bit. But and I think they really just did see enough with Luther Burden to be like.
For sure.
You got your 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
I think from all the cap casualties, if you will, because that technically the trade was a cap casualty.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the one that made the most sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I love the move because he sent DJ to play with Josh Allen and really give him a chance to win a ring. So funny enough, when we went to the bar on Friday, the bartender was a Bills fan. And he had said like is he gonna be good, and I'm like, bro, yes, like DJ Moore, barring any injuries, he's gonna deliver. And he may not have the same like miracle plays that he had this year, but that's just because like that was the Bears' MO this year. But Josh Allen's gonna feed him, and he's gonna do great for them. So
I'm glad that you brought up the miracle plays. I don't think you guys are going to have to rely on those. Like we kind of talked about, because DJ was a big part of some of those. But I think that you're taking that year 3 with Caleb. I
Mhm.
think that
Yeah.
the next step is consistency and not needing
Yeah.
the Hail Marys or the random savior moments. He'll have them. He has that in his bag.
Mhm.
But I think that the next step is you're ahead by 14 points. You don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
It could
I
happen
mean,
if you need it.
Speaking
it'll be
about miracle plays, I mean, you picked up one of the clutchest quarterbacks that Minnesota had, and doing the Minneapolis Miracle, you picked up Case Keenum.
we had him last year.
Brought him back.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
really?
brought him
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, you brought him
He
back.
was their
I see.
locker room guy for.
Hey,
for
you guys
benching
could have
them.
picked him up too. Why didn't you guys pick him up?
I would have had rather him then.
You guys needed to replace
Carson
JJ at some point.
Yeah.
You know, at
Hey,
some
how
point,
do you know that
replace
JJ
him.
isn't ready to have another kid? You need to have a backup in that contingency.
I mean, you never know when you're gonna have another kid, JC. You never know. Okay.
Sometimes you
I mean,
know.
you can kind of
trying.
know. Yeah.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
if you're trying.
Sometimes.
Case Keenum is your answer, but Aaron Rodgers could also be your answer. Come on.
The one other player, Jack, that I did want to bring up was Brisker. Losing
Mhm.
into the Steelers, I think that was
Mhm.
big. Did you guys retain Byard, or did Byard also leave?
No, I think they're both gone.
Both gone. So
Yeah.
no, that's going to be a position of need, and makes sense. But those guys were very impactful.
Yeah,
so.
I think their hope is that Kobe Bryant is gonna really hold it down
Makes
back
sense.
there, but
Great
obviously
signing.
we
Yeah.
still need another piece.
Sure. This draft
Um,
is pretty deep.
yeah.
For safety.
So, but I mean, I do want to kind of go back to Caleb really quickly. I agree with you, JC. I think that going into year 3 and now continuity in the offense, you have your same coach, you have the same offense, and again, how quickly he was able to absorb this offense throughout the entire year. Like, I mean, again, first game versus Minnesota to the final game, you could just see the growth. And that's the other thing, and why I'm saying is I'm proud of Ryan Poles for laying the foundation, but even, more thrilled with Ben Johnson because he's going to develop Caleb. He really is. So, but yeah, I mean, it was still sad losing DJ, but again, I'm happy for where he went. I wish him the best of luck, and
a win-win
Bills
potentially
Bears
for both
Super Bowl.
teams.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, second round pick for him?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Alrighty, guys, anything else that you want to put out there? I know, we'll probably gather here in the not next week, because we'll split this episode into 2 episodes. But I think that's the week right before the draft, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll just get right into it, make some draft predictions, and yeah. Anything else you guys want to bring up right now?
Not really.
We can stay healthy. We got a good deep run. That's all I
You
can
could say that for every single team at the start of every single
I
league year.
mean, nah, not really the Packers. I don't know about
Ooh.
that one.
I mean, one thing's for sure is we're all right back where we started last
That's
offseason
true.
with no offensive line.
Yep.
That's very
All
true.
questions.
Come on,
on
fourth
the
place
O-line.
schedule, Lions. You guys got this. Here we go.
Alrighty, well, guess what, guys? I didn't have a fun fact last week for our season premiere. I don't have 2 this week, but I have a fun fact for us today. So let's go. So we have the draft coming up. Who knows where the draft's going to be?
Pittsburgh,
Pennsylvania. So our fun fact of
To the north.
Our fun fact of the week is that only 8 cities have hosted the NFL draft since it was first established in 1936, which was actually very surprising to me.
Yeah.
8 different cities.
Was it mostly in Cleveland for the most part? Then?
And this is, I do have the breakdown. I can get it for you. But this will be Pittsburgh's second time hosting the NFL draft. They haven't hosted it in 78 years. The last time they hosted the NFL draft was in the 1948-1949 season.
Wow.
So before the merger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
So I guess I do have sort of a secondary fun fact for you guys. So out of those 8 teams, this is in alphabetical order. So Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, Milwaukee, New York City, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. It looks like New York City and Chicago have hosted the NFL draft
I thought
most
so.
times.
Makes sense.
Oh, well then wait, this might be a little outdated though because Green Bay just hosted
And
a
the
draft
Lions
too.
hosted it.
Yeah, so
years ago.
shoot, my fun fact I didn't.
So we got
fact check
10. We got 10.
it.
10 teams.
But I
We got
do
10.
know that the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers
There you
hosted
go.
it was indeed 1948, 1949
That's
season.
wild.
So 78 years.
Damn, it's going from the
The-
north to the north.
The Rooney's been trying to get a Super Bowl there forever, but like the league keeps saying like, oh, not enough hotels or whatever it is. So I think the draft is like a good step in that direction, maybe for them to try to like host a bit. Because look, we got Vegas again, right? In a couple years.
Plus, it's
I mean,
outdoor stadium.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
so
If it-
hard
if
to
it's
get an
not-
If
outdoor
it's not
stadium.
10, then comment below and tell us how many it is. How about
Yeah.
that?
I think at some point the North is going to get a Super Bowl, but it's probably going to be the Bears because they're
The newer-
trying to build
yeah,
an indoor
Makes
stadium.
sense. That's why Vegas got another one. Makes sense.
I
you
mean,
know,
I think the
capital.
Vikings
Oh.
stadium has a good
Well, yeah, they
chance,
had
but,
their
but,
right.
You know.
which at that point, God damn, they're all going to be indoors except for the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are outdated.
Nah, I'm okay with the open door.
Alrighty,
Open
guys.
air.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Of course, it was lovely having Eddie and Dill here today, and we'll have them back pre-draft, ready to go. Hopefully, it doesn't take us 3 hours to set up like it did today, but we'll get that time-lapse video for you guys so you can see the struggles.
You need like a straight up overview of just all
Yeah.
of the mayhem that
Yep,
goes on.
Yep.
So long.
We blame Dill because he has to be remote,
Yes.
so it's all Dill's fault.
It's always my fault.
If you
I'm
see
always
his
ready,
lips a little
but it's always
choppy,
my fault.
that's on him.
Fine. How about next time I'll come out there and I'll
I love it.
Oh,
There we
We're
go.
ready. We're ready.
Alright,
We're absolutely
good.
ready.
I'll have to go over it with her, but you know.
I'm gonna send you some mic gears in case you go to the next game. You can interview people.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I'm down because
I'll send you some of these.
I didn't have to
Can't
pay
see.
for my last tickets on both games, so my aunt has season tickets, so I get
Nice.
whenever she doesn't go, I'm usually the first one she asks now. So
Very nice.
Nice.
very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week, and get ready for the draft. So it'll be draft talk. Deuces.
Vikings, I guess you can tell that they make some bad deals, or maybe not some bad deals, but their deals go south pretty quickly. The Vikings. You know, I don't have too much because I hate the Vikings. You know, they're gonna probably need a new quarterback here pretty soon.
They got no one.
They got nobody.
No.
And-